Hey guys, so today we're going to learn about the squid, which is a part of the phylum Mollusca, which includes snails and clams, and the class Cephalopoda, which includes octopi, nautilus, and cuttlefish. And so for some basic orientation, this side that is facing up right now is the ventral side, as you can identify by the siphon right there, and then this side is the dorsal side. And so the end with the fins is the posterior, and the end with the arms and the tentacles is the anterior. And so, to get started with the basic anatomy of the squid. And so, first let's start off with the mantle. It's made from the ectoderm, and it consists of muscle and epithelial tissue. Now this muscle is striated, and it helps in moving water into the mantle cavity, which is the area between the actual body of the squid and the mantle. And so, the mantle can actually bring water in by relaxing its circular muscles, and then it can constrict them really quickly and close the area right there to force water out of the siphon in order to use the form of locomotion known as jet propulsion. And so what jet propulsion does is it forces a bunch of water really quickly through a smaller aperture than what it came in through, and this gives it a net force going away from the direction of the water. So if the water was forced out that way, the squid would move in this direction. And so as the squid is moving, it can use these fins to steer itself and to provide stability as it swims. But also, this squid can actually use its fins to provide thrust and lift. When it's moving a bit slowly, the fins move in a bit of a wave-like fashion and provide more lift than they do anything else. However, when they're going really fast, the fins go in a flapping motion, and then they alternate between flapping and then squeezing close to their mantle, and then flapping, and then squeezing close to their mantle. And this gives them a lot of thrust. And so I imagine it as like giving themselves power and like streamlining themselves. That's just how I think about it. And so these fins actually produce 4 different types of vortices based on how they're swimming. So if they're swimming with their anterior end forward, they can actually create 2 specific types of vortices. And when they're swimming with their posterior end forward, so they're going in this direction, they can actually produce the vortices that they produce this way, plus another 2 more, for a total of 4 different types of vortices. And then these are just the ones that we have observed, so who knows, there might be more that you might discover eventually. And so, another part you may have noticed of the squid are these things right here. And so these shorter portions are the arms. And so you're probably familiar that an octopus has 8 arms. And so a squid has 8 arms too. And so you can identify an arm because it has suckers located all along the length of the arm. And then also, the arms actually are like stuck where they are. They can't retract or like expand, elongate, I mean. And so, like, they can still bend and everything. However, the tentacles, they can actually retract into much shorter lengths and actually elongate and stretch in order to do something known as the tentacular strike behavior. And so what this is when the squid generally just stays in one location, relatively stationary, as stationary as it can be in water, and it sends out just its tentacles and captures its prey, and then it can bring its prey up to its mouth, and then its arms can help manipulate and hold the prey as it chows down essentially, and the mouth is located right at the center of this crown, which is also bilaterally symmetrical, by the way. And so, something you may have noticed are the eyes. So the eyes don't have circular pupils like us humans and most other mammals. They're actually this odd shape, and this helps because squids actually don't have cones in their retinas, and so this means they can't really detect color the same way we do, and well, they don't have the same number of cones as we do. And then what they can do is, so as the light goes through into their eyes, through these weird pupils, different wavelengths refract at different angles. And so based on where the light lands on the retina, we're hypothesizing that squids might actually be able to detect color, just not in the same way we do. And so another very prominent feature you might have noticed is the siphon right here. I sort of mentioned it before. And so the siphon actually just has a small opening right here that it uses when it needs to go through jet propulsion. And if you dissect it like that, so normally if you were to dissect a squid, you would cut it down the top end from like ventral side up. but I don't want to ruin this by cutting it, so we just pulled it apart. And so it actually opens up. It's a bit bigger on the inside, and so that allows water to come in, get concentrated in a more through a smaller aperture, so then it produces more of a force and is more efficient. And so the siphon can help in jet propulsion, waste disposal from the anus, which is usually located around here, and if it's a female, it can also be responsible for helping in laying the eggs. And then if need be, this ink sac can also send ink through the siphon, which can be directed whichever way the siphon wants it to go, and that can be used to confuse predators in order to get away and escape. And so this, you might have noticed, is what are known as the Ctenidia, or pretty much their version of gills. And so they're normally feathery and around a central mass, which is located around here, but I did not make those organs because I don't want to distract you guys with a whole bunch of different things. And so these Ctenidia help with gas exchange, and so when this mantle actually fills up with water, so in like the empty space between this hollow mantle and then this actual mass, so that empty space fills up with water and allows for gas exchange. And then the mantle can also just release all of that water by contracting again, but maybe not in such a forceful way. And that way the water can leave and the squid won't necessarily propel forward by a significant amount. And so normally the reproductive organs in a male are located to the left of the cecum. However, the squid that I dissected in lab was actually a little bit to the right, actually. And so you might see some anomalies. However, typically they're to the left, according to online articles. And so what I made here are the reproductive organs of the male, and then you can also sometimes see the spermatophores, which are like little rods, like little needle-like things. And those are what the squid uses to impregnate the female, and it does so using one modified arm, which only the male has, which is known as a hectocotylus. And so this modified arm is used to impregnate the female using the sperm that was produced over here. And so this red structure is known as a cecum. It's part of the digestive system of the squid, and it connects to the stomach and the intestine, which is normally located over here, which ends in the anus over there. And another thing that is really like unique to the squid and other cephalopods, except the nautilus, is an internalized shell. And so this shell usually takes the form of a pen in squid, which is so it's like this cartilage. It's a structure made of cartilage. Sorry, I just can't speak right now. It's like my okay. Anyways, so yeah, so this structure of cartilage is just long and thin, and is usually like translucent to clear, and it provides structure for the squid and is all that remains of the shell. And so that's, yeah, there you have it. That's a squid for you. And then if you have any questions, let me know. I can follow up. And yeah, thanks for watching. And also just to add, at the mouth of the squid, it has a beak, sort of like this parrot over here. And then that's the general shape of it, and it's right in front of a radula, which you will see in the coming video. So as you can see, the snail's radula is scraping against the glass to remove algae in order to ingest it, and the squid also has a similar structure behind its beak, which it uses to also break down food and ingest. And so now that's the real end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, do all that, and see you guys later.